Hey guys, welcome back. Um, First, I want to start by thanking everybody that has um, mostly been listening to our podcast channel. Through Anchor, which has been distributing through Google Podcast, Apple, Spotify, and a lot of other podcasting networks or channels or um, whatever you want to call them. Um, we have been gaining a lot more listeners lately, and I am just absolutely blown away by the amount of support. We actually just got our first favorite by another by a listener on our channel. So thank you so much. I Again, I'm so blown away. The support is just absolutely incredible. Philip and I literally were doing this for fun. So to have people not only here in the United States, but across the globe, based on some of the statistics that I've seen through the Anchor app, and this is not it's not a paid sponsorship, that's just the app that I use for our podcast. And it's so easy to use. I just I was not expecting it to reach as far as it has. It's reached to Ireland, which I I'm not surprised because I personally do have family over in Ireland. Um, so I imagine my cousin Seth, um, or even his dad Thomas, could potentially be the ones listening to our sports channel. So if you guys are listeners, thank you so much. Or even some of Seth's schoolmates, um, you know. Um, but it's even reached as far as Germany, and that is just so freaking cool. And, you know, hopefully our YouTube channel can eventually amass that as well. You know, sometimes I do get discouraged, seeing just, 7 subscribers, but it takes work. So, you know, I'm focusing on what I can do to make both run better. I mean, some people prefer to listen to the podcast, some people prefer to see, you know, the person behind the voice, on the YouTube channel. And, you know, I do some really crazy antics. Um, Sometimes my cats will jump in on the YouTube channels, and you don't get to see that on the podcast. I mean, you hear me talk about it, but only on the YouTube channel will you get to see that. So it has its pros and its cons. I mean, you'll hear me talking about the exact same thing because I'm literally recording both at the same time to save me time. So, again, you know, I just wanted to start off, this segment by thanking each and every one of our supporters, whether you are a YouTube subscriber, or you have watched any of our YouTube videos but you haven't subscribed, or you listen to our podcast. Thank you. You know, it's the thought that counts, in my opinion. So that's just, showing us that you care enough to listen to what we're talking about. And I know that I personally don't record nearly as long as a lot of these other podcasters or YouTubers, but I'm slowly building up to that. I have had a lot of things going on in my personal life, so it's made it kind of difficult to try and get a little bit of a schedule going. So again, thank you. And without further ado, I think we have to recap on week 7, make picks for week 8, and see where our other sports have taken us in the meantime. So, let's go ahead and get our picks out of the way for week 8. So, maybe I should get the phone right over here. There we go. Okay, so coming up on Thursday night, we've got the Packers and the Cardinals in Arizona. Arizona is looking to stay perfect. The Packers are potentially going to be without Davante Adams because he has just been put on the COVID-19 list as he's tested positive. I personally like what the Cardinals are doing. They have Kyler Murray. They have J.J. Watt opposite of Kyler Murray on defense. They have a strong offensive line. Like, basically, the Cardinals have gelled so well together that I think they are going to be very formidable against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Philip is a Packers fan, so it's very hard for him to choose against his Packers. So I'm taking the Cardinals. He's taking the Packers. Sunday's games. Panthers and the Falcons. After what the Giants did to the Panthers on Sunday, and with Matt Rule benching Sam Darnold, yet still saying that, oh yeah, it's okay, I benched him, but he's still our starting quarterback. That doesn't give me a lot of confidence. So I'm taking the Falcons, and so is Philip. The Dolphins and Bills. That's a no-brainer. We're both taking the Bills. Next game, Niners and the Bears. obviously, with Philip being a Packers fan, sometimes it's hard for him to choose a divisional rival, especially one that has been a longtime rival of the Packers, like the Bears. So, and they haven't been particularly playing up to par. I still don't like how the Bears have treated their quarterback situation. And I'll get more into that in my recaps of Sunday's games. So as far as picks go, we're both taking the 49ers. Steelers and the Browns. The Brownies. Eagles and Lions. I'm taking the Lions. The Lions are due for a win. They're due. And I think they have a great head coach now, that has a passion for his team, and they can just get the right, what's the word I'm looking for? There's a word I'm looking for, and it's on the tip of my tongue, and I can't figure it out. But anyway, they just get the right pieces to the puzzle. Okay, there we go. That's more of a phrase than a word. Anyway, but they just get the right puzzle pieces together. I think that, sorry, that was a cat sneeze. The Lions can, stop beating themselves up, because they can score points. They're capable of winning. So I think it's more of a confidence issue within themselves as a team. So that's why I'm picking them, aside from the fact that they're playing the Eagles and I'm a Giants fan. And it's very, very hard for me as a Giants fan to pick the Eagles. Philip is picking the Eagles. Girl. Titans and Colts. I guess the Titans figured out how to play football all of a sudden. I'm picking the Colts, and Philip is picking the Titans. Bengals and Jets. I'm staying with the Bengals. Like, they have surprised the hell out of me. The Jets are still a disaster, which is no surprise. But surprisingly enough, this week, Philip is actually picking the Bengals too. Next game. Rams and Texans. That's another no-brainer for a pick. Rams for the both of us. Patriots and Chargers. That one was kind of a almost like, give us both a coin and we'll flip it and see which side it lands on. But we're both taking the Chargers. Washington football team at Denver. Of course, I'm taking the Broncos. Philip is taking Washington. Bucks at Saints. Saints are my other team, because I grew up in Louisiana. So, yeah, I'm also not that much of a fan of Tom Brady. Go figure. So I'm taking the Saints. And of course, Philip's taking the Bucks. Sunday night. Oh, wait. Got one more 4 o'clock game. Because I actually forgot to write this down. Jacksonville at Seattle. Jacksonville did get their first win of the season. They snapped their 20-game losing streak. But I don't see them winning 2 in a row, especially in Seattle. So both of us are more or less going to take Seattle. So now Sunday Night Football, Cowboys and the Vikings. I'm taking the Vikings. The Vikings are one of those flippy-flop teams that they can play really good football, or they can just be a disaster. It's almost like, hey, which one are you going to get this week? And Cowboys, it depends on who's hurt. Hate to say it that way, but if they're going to win or lose, it depends on who's hurt or who's not, or who ends up getting hurt in the game. That's just how it goes. I mean, I'm not saying that to be vicious or a bitch. It's just true. Because these days, teams build around 1 or 2, maybe 3 players, and it's like, oh, we have all these other players, but we didn't build around them. We built around these ones, and half of this core group is hurt, so what the hell do we do now? Like, that's not cohesive as a team. That doesn't help your team at all. That just breaks up the chemistry for your team, in my opinion. And then Monday Night Football. Oh, I'm not sure if I said Philip's pick, but he's picking the Cowboys. Monday Night Football. Giants are traveling to Kansas City. Obviously. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say obviously, because the week that the Giants played the Saints, I picked the Saints, and, well, must say I was pleasantly surprised to end up being wrong, because the Giants beat the Saints in overtime. But let's not talk about that one. I mean, one of my teams won, so it's like, I don't know how to feel about that one. Still unsure about it, honestly. We're both taking the Giants. Kansas City has they have some stuff to figure out. So, those are our week 8 picks. As far as week 7 week pick, and there's only 2 teams on a bye in week 8 as compared to week 7 where there were 6 teams on a bye. So in week 8 we won't see Vegas or Baltimore, whereas week 7 we didn't see Buffalo, Dallas, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Chargers, or Jacksonville. So I ended up going 10 for 3 in my picks for week 7, whereas Philip went perfect. And we did not put any money down on these picks at all. So, knowing that stings a whole lot. Because, could have won a couple $1,000s. Like, tens of $1,000s. Because, that was just all. Like, if we just put it all money line, straight up, no points, nothing. Just straight wins. Small, $5, $10 bet, whatever. Depending on what sportsbook you bet with, you could win quite a few $1,000s. And he went 13-0 on his picks. So, my strategy for this week, since there are 15 games for week 8, I'm going to take his picks, put $5 on them. I'm going to take my picks, put $5 on them. And we're going to see which one wins. Might do some spreads. Who knows? We'll see. Might feel spunky. I don't know. Okay, so now need to pull up. No, I don't want fantasy. But speaking of fantasy football, I got my first win. Sorry, Shelby. I love you. I promise. I love the fantasy league that I'm in because it's so much fun. Like, it's me, my husband, 2 of my really, really good friends. One of my friends' dad. Then Shelby's nephew, I think it is. I mean, it's just 8 of us. But it's, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, we're going into week 8. And, yeah, okay. Judge me all you want. It took me 7 weeks to get my first win. But there was like 4 different weeks that I was projected to win. And then I magically lost. So, nay. No. Don't come at me with that. Like, it's not my fault. Like, I picked everybody that I needed to pick to help me to win. And then when it actually came game time, well, they didn't do what I needed them to do. Like, God, what week was it? It was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I went head to head with my friend Alex, and literally, the Dallas game is what cost me. The Dallas Chargers game, because Dallas went with the run game. And if Dallas hadn't gone with the run game the entire game, and Dak actually passed the ball, he would have gotten fantasy points. I would have won. So, Such is life. Things look good on paper. But when game time actually happens, you can't account for injuries right then and there when you're making your fantasy team. Unless, boom, they're like, oh, yeah, by the way, COVID-19 list. Or, this happened. Or this happened. You just, So. Hey, Philip, where are you going? Okay, well, hurry up so you can jump in on this. Okay, NFL scores. So. So I feel like I recapped week 6 with when I did my picks and everything for week 7. Already did the picks for week 8. Got yours in there. But get this. Somehow, when I was doing that research that you asked me to do, somehow I managed to miss a game. I managed to forget to write down the Jacksonville-Seattle game. But I figured you'd obviously pick Seattle and not Jacksonville, so I got you. Because, I'm sorry, me personally, I don't see Jacksonville going 2 in a row, let alone winning in Seattle.
No, unfortunately, Seattle's they don't wow me either.
So, what you're saying is you want me to switch your pick from Seattle to Jacksonville?
No, I'm saying I'm not. I'm saying it's a toss-up.
Oh,
because Seattle's just coming. Not Seattle. Jacksonville's just coming off a win, aren't they?
Yes, they are. But they're going into Seattle, and
Seattle just lost at home, so
yes. But Seattle lost to the Saints.
Who look like crap too.
Exactly. So I just don't see Jacksonville pulling off a win in Seattle. That's just me. Okay.
I mean, hell, I hardly see the Seahawks pulling off a win in Seattle.
Well, I mean, like Alex said during her and her dad's stream, no rust, no win. I mean,
well, when the cook cuts his own finger off, suddenly you're left with takeout.
yeah, well, All right, so we've already discussed the record for this week's picks, Mr. 13-0, where we could have won a couple tens thousands of dollars. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have to put the same care to next week that I put in this week.
You already made your picks, though.
I can always change them.
Well, yeah. I mean, By the way, yeah, there's the numbers. That's just if, do just a $5 bet, money line, straight up, on just those picks as is. And then, that's taken the opposite way. You want to know what that's called? Hedging your bet.
For you betting people, you know what that means. I am a mook and work on slot machines. I have no idea what that means.
I'll explain it.
Mook means I'm a meathead.
Obviously. Anyway.
Stuffed with Swiss cheese.
Okay, so let's get to I'm so glad we get this on not just the podcast, but the YouTube channel. Okay. So let's get...
Next time we do the YouTube channel, we should grab our studio lights and
Maybe.
no, we should. It'd be a lot better than this orange light that we got going on.
It's not so much as an orange light as it is like, that's just how it looks. But when you actually look at it, you know, when the video actually plays, it looks a lot better than this, I promise. Okay, so let's start with recaps. So, flip the page back. Week 7, sir. Thank you. So, let you start, sir, the Browns and the Broncos game.
Well, obviously the better team won in that day, despite, you know, being led by Case Keenum.
I mean, I don't think that Case did that bad of a job.
All he did was not lose. Let's look at Case's stats.
I mean, I've got him pulled right here. He went 21 of 33 for
187 yards.
199 yards and a touchdown.
199 yards and a touchdown.
Bridgewater went 23 of 33 for 187, 2 touchdowns and an interception.
Let's see how much fantasy points he would have generated.
I'm pretty sure all you have to do is literally pull up the fantasy app. And you can probably go back a week.
Actually, it's still this week, so I'm pretty sure Case Keenum would not have made that much. He made 12 points.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why fantasy matters at this moment.
Well, it's just
We're recapping the game itself, not fantasy points.
Oh, because fantasy points are, in a way, a measurement of performance too. So.
Well, right now we have 7 subscribers on our YouTube channel, and I mean, you know, let's wait until we have more subscribers before we like really delve into, okay, this person did this, so it amassed to X amount of fantasy points. You know what I mean?
No. Anyway.
It said something about a third stringer on there.
Yeah, third stringer running back. Because both running backs were out. And Kareem Hunt's going to be out for 3 more weeks.
What gives? Like...
He had a calf injury, so he's put on IR.
Oh. Well then. That just, that's unfortunate.
But
yeah, you keep the okay, get your iPad.
No, this is fine.
Okay.
The iPad's a little awkward to type on. And the keyboard needs to charge. So, this will work.
Okay. Anyway. So, on the Broncos side of things, do you think that, they're going in the right direction with Bridgewater as their QB, or do you think that they're better off trying to get somebody else?
Well, it just seems like every week the Broncos play, they take a step back.
Now, is that necessarily the fault of the QB, though?
Well, Bridgewater was 23 for 33 and didn't even throw 200 yards. So,
But again, is that necessarily his fault?
well, I'm sure Fangio and Pat Shermer has something to do with that too.
Because if you look at his receivers, let's see, Sutton had 5 targets,
1 yard short for being nice.
5 targets, 5 receptions. Fant, 7 targets, 5 receptions. Williams, 6 receptions, 7 targets. Patrick, 2 receptions, 5 targets. Hinton, 2 targets, 2 receptions. Gordon, 2 receptions, 3 targets. Saubert, 1 target, 1 reception. Brown, 0 receptions, 1 target. Cleveland, the same thing. 0 receptions, 1 target.
Well,
So,
I mean, his receivers were catching balls. But here's the other thing you got is that they didn't rush at all. They rushed a total of 14 times for a total of
41 yards.
41 yards.
And the longest was 7 for an average of 2.9 yards a carry, basically.
So they just weren't. They couldn't run the ball, and then it just looks like they even stopped trying. That's a running back. If Gordon and Williams should at least have about 14 carries.
A piece.
Yeah, or about 25 carries between the two of them.
Right.
And that's just with subbing and so on and so forth, and even Bridgewater when he ran, he only got 3 yards. That's not conducive to offensive production. They just, this is the Broncos.
Right.
It just, based off what numbers they made, the game looks a lot closer than what it probably was.
Yeah.
And you have to remember that Cleveland is out of, they were without Chubb, they were without Hunt, Landry wasn't back, Baker was gone, Jack Conklin was gone, Wills decided that he was able to play. And Von Miller was talking, saying, I am going to kill whoever I'm going up against, whoever tackle. It doesn't matter. And he didn't leave in second quarter, I think.
Yeah, it was early on in the game. It was before halftime.
Yeah. And he wasn't much of a factor anyway.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm looking at these receivers, and, you're going through the targets and catches. The top 5 receivers until you get to Hinton, even Hinton and Gordon, they caught at least 40% of their passes. 2 out of 5, that's 40%.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, not great, but, I mean, when you're running back, you're not really meant to catch passes unless you're catching screens.
Yeah.
And your only other job is you're the what's it called? You're the check down.
True.
So.
All right. So on the Cleveland side of things, since Cleveland is dealing with so many injuries, do you think that they handled it better or worse, considering the injuries that they are currently dealing with.
I think they played the game they had to play. Well, I guess Landry was back. He did play.
Mm-hmm.
And he had the most receptions on the team, but not for the most yards. That belongs to Hooper. Hooper, if you're a Browns fan, it's a common running joke that whenever Hooper gets the ball, he goes to the ground immediately. He actually had run after catch this time, or yards after catch.
Yeah, I was about to say it's.
In Madden we call it rack.
Oh.
Run after catch. And typically, whenever Baker would throw to Hooper, Hooper would catch it, and then he'd go in and he'd fall to the ground.
Oh, okay. Now I know what you're talking about.
So it was kind of a joke, like, can Hooper actually stay on his feet while his first catch, he ran for like 30 yards.
Gotcha.
I'm like, oh my god, he can actually run after catching the ball.
Yeah.
He has 2 feet that don't crumble immediately upon impact.
Yeah. So, obviously, like you said in the beginning, the better team won. I'm surprised that the score was as close as it was. I mean, it was only a 3-point score.
I'm not that surprised that they didn't put up more points because it is Case Keenum. And he hasn't played the way he played for Minnesota since he left Minnesota. When he went to the NFC Championship and lost to the Eagles. That was the Stephon Diggs catch. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember, Saints fan, there's some things that we try to forget about. All right. Moving on through the list of games based on how I've got it on.
One more thing about this game.
Okay.
It was in Cleveland, I believe, right?
It was.
I think I know why the offensive numbers were so bad. I think it was windy that day. Like it notoriously is in NRG Stadium.
Possibly.
And it's unpredictably windy, which would cause it to, passes to go errant.
Yeah, that's possible.
It also further cements my my feeling that Beckham needs to go.
We'll discuss that.
Yeah.
In another segment.
Or
in like part 2 of this, because I'll have to restart the podcast.
Yeah, because I have a whole soapbox about that.
Okay, we can make that like its own segment. Okay, so I'll just go through the list. Just because this is just how I've got it listed on ESPN. Panthers and Giants.
Called it.
I was surprised, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, yes, I picked the Giants. Was I expecting the Giants to win? No. Was I expecting them to put up 25? No.
While the 27th ranked defense held them to 3? No.
Was I expecting them to hit Carolina with a safety? No. Was I expecting the freaking score to be 3-5 going into halftime? Guys, did you forget what fucking sport you were playing? 3-5 is a fucking baseball score. Or
hockey.
Yeah, hockey, basketball, because, you know, basketball season has now started. So, yeah. You're playing football. Just saying. And then, again, I'm still not a huge fan of Jones. I'm slowly warming up to the kid.
Just say, I think he's starting to grow on you.
Slowly warming up to the kid. But that catch that he made, yes, it was good. It was fantastic. But that's how you get fucking hurt, especially 2 weeks post-concussion. What were you thinking? Like, great job, Garrett, letting your fucking QB, fucking pull a stunt like that.
I mean, Sam Darnold was only self-destructing.
Okay, yeah, but again, Jones should have sat out last week, in my opinion, because how hard of a hit he took the week prior. And then the catch that he made, he's a quarterback. He's not a running back. He's not a wide receiver. He's not a tight end. He's a quarterback. I understand he's trying to win over the Giants fan base, because he was brought in over Eli. Eli was benched in favor of Jones. The Giants fan base is not over that yet. So he's trying to prove himself, to be like, hey, I can make these dynamic plays for you guys. Like, let me show you what I can do. Let me... It's like... If you... It's almost like saying, if you open your heart to me just a little bit and let me in, I can show you the kind of things I can do for this team. But you have those older season ticketed players that are like, no, what you did is dangerous. No. No. Like, they don't want to see it. They will forever stick by one quarterback. Do I love Eli? Yes. That's my quarterback. Jones is starting to grow on me. Do I agree with him making those kind of plays all the time? Absolutely not. That is a good way for him to end his career real fucking early.
And that's not necessarily his call, though. That play comes up, he's like, I gotta do what I gotta do.
And I understand the whole gotta do what you gotta do for your team in order to get that win. But when do you say, hey, maybe that's not a good idea, and maybe I shouldn't? You know what I mean? I mean, the kid's got gumption. I'm not gonna lie. He's got gumption. He's, he is trying to win the New York Giant fan base over.
The fan base has done nothing but shit on him.
I mean,
you all did the same thing to Eli too, so. people seem to forget about that. That Eli was almost ran out of town.
Yeah, I still don't understand why people would pick Warner over Eli. But anyway.
Because Kurt Warner was part of the, he was part of the Greatest Show on Turf.
I'd still pick Eli over Warner, but hey.
Well, Prime Warner at that time was a much better quarterback than Eli.
Eli was a fucking rookie. What did they want?
Sit behind Warner and let him show him the reins.
Okay, but by that point, Warner wasn't winning games for the Giants. He wasn't doing what the Giants fan base was asking of him, so they wanted Eli to come in and take over. And then, of course, you know, like every rookie that comes in without, you know, sitting for a whole season and learning the ropes, what happens?
Trial by fire.
Exactly. And then guess what? They warm up to him, and he wins us 2 Super Bowls. So, okay. Next game. Washington and Green Bay.
See, I said in Alex's chat that was going to be an easy win. Packers by 14. And it was an easy win. Packers by 14. I was a guy.
What was up with their uniforms? Like, seriously, that was ugly.
That was their 1950s throwback.
Okay, can we stop with the fucking throwbacks?
Packers have some of the better throwback uniforms compared to the other teams. Like, Steelers, hey, let's dress up like bumblebees.
You took the words out of my mouth with that one. But, I mean, like, legit. Can
we
stop
look like bumblebee convicts.
Like, can we stop with the throwback? I don't understand the concept of...
Do you see the Browns throwback uniforms? Those look pretty good.
I just don't understand the concept of, like, multiple throwback uniforms. Like, okay, in baseball, there was... Oh, shit. It was 3 years ago now, I think it was. See, that is subtle but nice and clean.
Of course, I don't know why I showed a picture of Baker's ass, but...
Anyway, you know, the Mets, they played an entire season using the 1986 uniform. And now I'm all for it. I love the 86 unis. That's just me. I love them. But I don't understand teams that have multiple different throwback uniforms. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, when you're a team like the Packers that's been around since the 1920s, you have several, and that's like one of those cities that loves all that shit.
Okay, so moving on. Titans and Chiefs. Oof.
Exposed.
Big time. I'm just glad that Mahomes is going to be okay after that fucking hit.
Apparently, all you need to do to stop Mahomes is 2 very deep safeties, and that's it. That's when Mahomes has been struggling. That's a defense coverage that's been used against him.
Gotcha.
Because that takes away the deep ball. That's part of their game.
Yeah. Um, the Chiefs just need to like hit their bye week so that they can hit a refresh, reevaluation, whatever the case may be, because they don't look anything like they have the last 2 seasons.
I think this is the Madden curse here for them.
Yeah, because Mahomes is on the...
He's been on 2 of the past 3 covers.
Ooh. Yeah. Okay. So, moving on. Falcons and Dolphins. I didn't watch that game at all, so I really don't have...
The only one I watched was the Browns game.
I don't have much of anything on.
Outside, I called it.
Did I pick that one? I picked the Dolphins. Damn.
You picked the Dolphins.
Yeah, I picked the Dolphins. For some reason, did something happen to the Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
What the hell? Okay. Whatever. Patriots and Jets. I was not expecting that kind of a score, to be honest.
I wasn't expecting the Jets to score that much.
I wasn't expecting the Patriots to hit over 50.
Well, it's Bill Belichick. It's his bi-yearly spanking of the Jets.
Bengals and Ravens. That was a great game to watch.
Yeah, I didn't expect them to do that good. I expected them to be a shootout, and Ravens appear to be struggling for the past couple games, but they won. With the exception of the odd game or so.
Mm-hmm.
But we should probably move on so we can get through this so your laptop doesn't die.
It's got 33 minutes on it. Okay. Let's see.
Eagles.
Eagles and Raiders. Such an odd scoring game.
Mm-hmm.
22-33? Like, what? I mean,
that's 11 field goals. What kind of...
I mean, like, what? I mean, that's one way to keep your kickers busy. If that's the case.
And your fantasy owner is very happy.
I just...
My God, Matt Gay made me 42 points this week.
I mean, obviously, I'm happy that the Raiders won because they were going against the Eagles. But that's just such a weird scoring game.
Well, at least it's not,
I know it was a bigger margin early on in the game.
Oh, honey, I wasn't perfect.
What do you mean?
I picked the Lions to win.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh.
Rams won.
For some reason I thought you picked the Rams.
It says Lions.
Oh. Well then. Okay.
You all been bamboozled for an hour. I'm sorry.
Oops. My bad, y'all.
I wasn't perfect. And I haven't lost my touch.
Okay. Apparently, he was actually 12-1, not 13-0 on his picks.
It's still pretty damn good.
Yeah. So, I mean, my bad. For some reason, I thought he picked the Rams. I don't know why he picked the Lions.
I was trying to go for an upset.
So yeah, I think I was looking at mine and thought that since most of our picks were fairly the same, I was just like, oh, okay, he picked the Rams, just like me. Okay, boom, whatever. So, bleh. My bad. Sorry.
You may not want to try and sign into that. Looks like we need to do some work or something.
Yeah.
It's probably, maybe there's like an outage.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, guess you're right. Yeah. Stupid thing. Well, okay. So, anyway, next game.
No, Rams.
Yeah, Rams and Lions. The
The one I got away with.
one you tried to get away with.
Yeah. Hey, I didn't try to do anything. You're the one that counted it up. I corrected you.
I mean, it only took you how long to figure it out?
This is the first time I looked at it.
Okay, well, you need to remember your picks, sir.
There are 13 games. I can't possibly remember all of them.
Okay, Goldfish.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford, the trade that everybody was like, oh my god, what? Why? How could you?
Because Jared Goff is not a good quarterback. Without Sean McVay, let's just say his first starting season, he was looking like a bust.
Okay.
I'm going to look up Goff's first season stats because they were awful. Because Goff doesn't know how to diagnose defenses after the snap.
Okay, Forrest Gump.
Oh, that's like a box of chocolates.
Sorry, guys. This is what I deal with on the daily. And for those following the podcast, I wish you could see what I deal with. If you would like to see, check out our YouTube channel. It is under the same name, United in Sports.
Okay, so Jared Goff, he started and played 7 games. He was 0 for 7. He threw 205 times for 54% completion percentage for thousands of yards. He threw 5 touchdowns and 7 interceptions.
Ooh.
In 7 starts. And he rushed for 1 touchdown. He took 26 sacks. He had 5 fumbles in 7 starts and lost 2 of them. Compared to the next year under McVay, he was 11-4, 62%, 3,800 yards.
So between the two of them on Sunday, Goff went 22 of 36 for 268, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, whereas Stafford went 28 of 41, 334 for 3 touchdowns.
You know what's funny right now? His first year starting, he started 7 games. He was 0-7. So far, week 7 and Detroit, he's 0-7, and he has very similar stats. Only his completion percentage is a hell of a lot better.
So what you're trying to say is he's gonna turn Detroit around next season.
No, because he wasn't under Sean. He's not going to be under Sean McVay next season.
I still think that Detroit is gonna turn shit around solely because of their head coach. If they don't let him go, Detroit is notorious for that specific thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Next game. Cardinals and... Okay, I get it.
Yeah. Almost identical.
Cardinals and Texans. Is that one even worth talking about?
I mean, it was a revenge game for T.J. Watt.
I tried JJ.
J.J. Watt, sorry, there.
TJ plays for Pittsburgh.
Yeah. So, it was a J.J. Watt and D-Hop revenge game. And they got their revenge, I think.
Yeah, 26-point difference.
Can you imagine if...
They said it wasn't even, like, playing the same team.
Can you imagine if, for some reason, they ship off Kyler Murray and then they trade for Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
No, but it would be funny if it did. Because then they'd just be like, well, we're just going to move all the good players from the Texans into the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, that's...
And it'll be the team that could have actually been had they not have had Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien's massive butt chin weighing him down.
Yeah.
With an ego that would make Hugh Jackson blush.
Yeah, but also Arizona's not getting rid of Kyler Murray anytime soon. Just saying. They'd be stupid. Like, really stupid. Okay. Next one was
Bucks.
Bucks and the Bears.
I mean the Cubs. Because that's what they look like. It was trial by fire for Justin Fields.
God, that poor kid. Like, I'm sorry. The Bears need to figure out their quarterback situation and fast. Because, like, I'm sorry. They spent the entire fucking offseason saying, oh, Andy's our quarterback, we're not gonna start Justin yet, we're gonna have him learn the ropes, this, that, and the other, and then, Andy gets hurt, and, okay, they have Justin start. They should have had Nick start, not Justin. That's where they fucked up.
And well, it's only furthering the narrative that Ohio State QBs don't succeed in an NFL.
Yeah, there was a stat that SportsCenter, I think it was, showed something about the amount of touchdowns or whatever that Brady had versus just Ohio State quarterbacks, and it was a difference of over 300.
It's because Brady it seems like it's like whenever he faces a former Ohio State quarterback, he puts on his Wolverine uniform.
Fun fact, this is the first time he's actually faced an Ohio State quarterback.
Well, he put on he found his old Michigan Wolverines uniform, dusted it off, cleaned it off, made sure it's still fit, wore it, and then murdered Justin Fields on the field with it.
Fun fact, Ohio State wipes the floor with Michigan. So
that's because Brady isn't good anymore.
Guess I'm gonna have to bring up the record. Okay, current win streak.
is Ohio State with 8 from 2012 to present. Longest win streak is Michigan from 1901 to 1909. 116 total meetings.
Michigan leads 58-51. With also the largest victory going to Michigan State, 86-0.
Michigan.
Or Michigan, sorry.
This is why, in this marriage, I'm the college football aficionado and you're not. Because, one, you just insulted 2 different fan bases at one time.
It's really a talent.
And also, the all-time series is Michigan 58, 51, and 6.
I'm not counting ties.
You have to, because that's part of the fucking record.
Yeah, but a tie's not a win or loss, so...
It's still part of the record.
And also, ties aren't really a thing in college football anyway, so... When's the last time a college football game has finished with a tie?
Not since they kept changing the fucking overtime rules.
Which is why I'm also not counting ties.
Okay, but when it is literally in the record, then yes, it counts. Okay, let's see. I want to see. Because what year did Brady enter the NFL? 99?
I think it was 2000. Might have been 99, might have been 2000. I mean, it was so long ago, who remembers? He was drafted in 2000.
Okay, so the last 2 years that Brady was at Michigan, they beat Ohio State. So.
And that was also during the time when I think he actually won the starter's position. Because throughout his college, that was the whole thing, is that Michigan didn't know who they wanted their starting quarterback to be. They had this kid that Michigan football program didn't want to lose the scholarship money from. And he was like the triple threat player, where he played baseball too, like Brady. But like he just didn't have the winning acumen that Brady had.
Yeah.
I don't remember who the kid was, but
I'm sure it's somewhere in that article that I have up, and I'm sure that we can read it at another time. Why did I just close that phone? But anyway, that game between the Bucks and the Bears not only had the largest age gap between 2 quarterbacks, 21 years and like 200 something days, but that was the first time in Brady's career that he had ever gone up against an Ohio State quarterback.
in the NFL.
Yeah, in the NFL. And then he goes and tosses his fucking 600th touchdown pass.
And Brady's like, I remember starting when I was your age.
I'm sorry. Like, honestly,
black and
listening to
white.
him talk with Eli and Peyton tonight on Monday Night Football, I get it. He gets a lot of hate, but he's actually a very well-spoken individual. I didn't realize that.
I think he has a very high Wonderlic score too.
A what?
Wonderlic is the it's like the IQ
Oh.
test that they take for the draft.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, he has a very good Wonderlic. So basically, you have a time test with 50 questions. There's only one quarterback there's only one player has even gotten close to perfect, and that was Ryan Fitzpatrick, who is a Stafford man. So 33 on a Wonderlic is very good.
Well, I mean, you know, Brady, like, took a jab at himself and said, well, I didn't go to Michigan for my grades.
Yeah, the Wonderlic is an assessment used to measure cognitive ability and problem-solving aptitude. It was prospect of employees for a range of occupations.
Yeah.
So it's a 50-question multiple choice, 12-minute timed quiz, basically.
Nice. But yeah. Like, I get it. He gets a lot of hate. I mean, comes with the territory when, you know, you're that damn good. But I didn't realize how well spoken and, well, you know. And then what he did with that young man that tugged on my mama heartstrings. That was so sweet. But I mean, you know, he's also a father, so okay. And we've got 10 minutes left on the laptop, so I think we're just gonna go ahead and, well, we got 2 games left. Colts and Niners. That was a very wet game.
A very wet game. It wasn't quite the Monsoon Bowl.
Close enough.
Which was Jacksonville and Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Many moons ago.
Yeah. They actually stopped that play because water was just pouring out of the stands, but it was very wet.
Yeah.
Surprised that people weren't hydroplaning.
I mean, that game still could have been dangerous.
Yeah.
Regardless. Because, I mean, you know, California is known for its fucking droughts. And then, let's see. Monday night's game, Saints and Seahawks.
It was a very, it was also a wet game too.
Yeah, it was raining in Seattle. So I think that was, like, leftover precipitation or whatever from Sunday. This is that time of year where Washington State and Oregon start getting a lot of their precipitation and crap like that. Yeah. The ESPN app. I'm just gonna show everybody this. Eli's like, but I enjoyed all of our games, Tom. Like, I love it. Like, I knew that they were gonna roast each other. 'Cause, I mean, yeah, Eli beat him twice in the Super Bowl. And I love it. I'm never gonna forget it as a Giants fan.
And only one once during the regular season. So he's beaten him 3 times. Speaking of Eli Manning, he scored a 39 on the Winter Lick.
Woo woo. Okay, we got 5 minutes left to wrap up any NFL that you want to talk about, and then tomorrow I'm gonna do a segment on baseball, college football, hockey, NFL, sheesh, basketball,
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, and then NASCAR has freaking postseason, which is stupid, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's... Huh. I realized that Cliff Kingsbury played in the NFL.
Okay, didn't know that.
And he scored a 31.
Fun fact, guys. Okay, so we're gonna wrap up on the NFL for today. So be on the lookout for at least another video on our YouTube channel and another segment for the podcast. And we will hit you guys later.